superpowers to bring you entertainment.
Please, Mr. Zombie, don't eat me. I've got fibromyalgia. I've got gout.
And welcome to another episode of Business Party Podcast, where it seems like everything is crumbling.
Like my mind and my brain, my head's about to explode. I hate the airlines. I hate Congress. I hate Senate. I hate every one of them. But you know what I don't hate? The shirts we have on sale now. Give us a jingle on our socials and get you one of them. Don't be. I gotta read our own shirt. Don't be a mainstream minion shirt with our cute little faces on there. There's a couple of AK-47s and a heart right in the middle because you know why?
Oh yeah,
because we love you all. Heart emojis. Now back to the hate. I fucking hate the airlines. There goes the demonetization. 3 minutes or less, and it's already on.
Right, already gone.
But I did get to hang out with our buddy Senpai.
Oh yeah,
that was fun. That was fun. Going to a karaoke bar and screaming out Britney Spears and watching him look at me like I was a disappointing child.
He's like, oh no.
He's like, but he did sing. He got me singing Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie, which I was not good at all. And then I sang Chicken Fried. He didn't do that one. That was pretty. I didn't do too bad with that one because it was proactive. Well. Somebody's mad. Yeah, I'm heated. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I got video of Rich singing. We had a good time. I mean, we walked in, and as soon as we walked in on the left-hand side, I saw the multi-colored rainbow flags from fuchsia to indigo blue. I mean, it was just every single color. It makes the color of your background look like it's too festive. So anyway, we had a great time. I drank non-alcoholic beer, which
non-alcoholic beer.
Listen, it was pretty good. I felt like, it's kind of like you're out with people and you're like, and you want to kind of like, can I get a water? But yeah, I drank Oh, Rich thought this girl was a lesbian for 2 years.
Oh, really?
No, it took me, myself, and I to just go, so you're a rug muncher, huh? She's just like, no. Rich's face was like, wait, you're not a lesbian? She's like, no.
Wow.
For 2 years, he thought she was a lesbian.
That's a good amount of time to not figure that out. Come on, man.
Oh, God. It was so much happened in so little time. Let me tell you, fuck the airlines. Fuck Southwest. I mean, I guess they were trying to be helpful and not bring us home, but I decided to I went to Nashville. Why did I do that? For a thing I had to do. And so I get there and I meet Mark Martel. And I was like, dude, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to have a great time here in Nashville. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. I get there. I see these two people from the company I work with. And I'm like, yeah, do you guys know where we catch the cabs or whatever? And they're like, yeah. I was like, do we pay for it and the company reimburses us, or we just go, or is there certain ones? And they're like, no, we go and the company reimburses us. I go, okay. So I'm kind of following them, and they like look back like, why is he following us? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to find out where we're going. And they're like, oh. I was like, so you want to catch a cab together? And they're like, I got to go to the bathroom. So I don't know how long I'm going to be. Whatever. I got it. So I was like, whatever. So I go, I get to the cabs. I meet another lady. She's like, hey, are you going there? 2, she's like, what do you want to do? I go, listen, they're going to reimburse me. I'll pay for it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Just as long we both get there. It's not a problem. So I go, okay. So we get there. I go to pay. I used one card. It didn't work. I used a company card. It didn't work. So I used my own card. And then I guess I put my wallet on my lap. I don't know because I felt rushed. Because there was just cars going out of this hotel in and out, in and out. So I was just like, I just was rushed. And then I got out and I go to look for my wallet and I see him just take off. And I go, well, so it begins. So I'm like, crap. What do I do? Now, like, I have the email from them for my receipt. I'm like, okay. So I go, let me try. So I email them and then I get these notifications. Well, we're just a middleman. We're not we don't really have his email. And I'm like, well, there goes my wallet. All right, whatever. It is what it is. So I go to check in and I'm like, yeah, I got the Marriott card. So I'm a preferred person. I checked in with my app so I don't have to go there. And they're like, yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, sounds good. And I go and I show them. They're like, okay. So they take this paper. It's about regular size paper. Maybe, yeah. It's a regular size, 8x11 or whatever. And she goes, okay, so we're here, right? And now your room, you have to go through here, through here, through here, through here. You got to pass this. And you got to go here.
Cross a bridge. There,
you got to pass this. You ain't lying, dude. There was a bridge that I had to go over.
Cross a bridge. Take a zip line.
This place was it was the Opry. I was at the Opry this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It was huge. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a zip line somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
Place was the size of Dallas Stadium.
Right.
So she goes, okay, you go here, and then you take this and you go here. This is where your elevator is, and you go here. She almost drew off the paper. That's how far away I was.
You're
from
at
the front.
Very fucking back.
I'm like, okay. Now I'm in Tennessee. I left Kansas. It was cool. I got to Tennessee around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I am now in a fishbowl in Tennessee. I'm wearing sweatpants and a long sleeve shirt. I got halfway, I guess, to my room, and I saw an elevator that said M1, and I went, hey, M1 is what my elevator is. So, go to the elevator? No, that was C. I have to go to M. It was C.
A little bit off.
Yeah, just
a little bit.
So I go, and I ask some lady. She's like, oh, yeah. Hold on. Do you have the app? And I go, no, I don't have the app. She goes, hold on. Let me see if I have the app. You're going to see, you work here and you're going to see if you have the app on your phone.
Right. Let me see.
So download the app, gives you turn by turn. Yeah, I'm halfway through this place. So finally get there, get to my room, literally throw my bags in the middle of the fucking room and just like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So I get there, I get settled in, I get relaxed. I get an email, I get a text message from the guy or an email to call him. He gave me his number. And so I got my wallet back. So
good.
That was good. Yeah. So getting home. Yeah. So I figured I'd take the last flight out at 8:30 at night because what could happen at 8:30 at night? It's at night. You got to go above the clouds. 8:30. If there's bad weather, by that 8:30, everything was supposed to be cleared. No, I am sitting there, and it looked like, Dawn of the Dead, with people just hanging out all over the place, and I'm like, oh, this is not a good sign, not a good sign. So I have to look at the app, the Southwest app, to realize that my plane has been canceled. It was delayed at first. Now it's been canceled.
They didn't announce it?
Nope.
Oh, great.
No. No announcement, no update on the app, no text message, Mr. Rios. We're not gonna be able to fly you home today. Okay.
Right. You're like, good
So I
job.
so I get up to the desk, which was another 45-minute line. So I get up to the desk and I said to the girl, "Hi. So just wondering when's the next flight and what are you guys going to do for me for compensation because you're, putting me out for the night." Like, and I get it, but once again, we've bailed these guys out to the tune of $54 billion in 2020.
Right.
You figure, hey, airlines haven't been working, nothing like that. Maybe we'll build a hotel. Maybe we'll actually think about, we have these times where we cancel flights and we leave people stranded. So maybe let's invest in a hotel where literally we can rent out rooms, and there might be a couple rooms maybe we can have for when, if we know, people are going to be staying overnight, and
Right.
we're not going to have them leave until Monday afternoon and it's Friday. Maybe we won't have people stuck in here like Tom Hanks in the movie The Terminal, fending for himself. Okay, maybe that might be an option, because once again, $54 billion that the taxpayers paid for the airlines in 2020.
Right.
Now, this girl looked at me stone-faced and went, "We don't order vouchers. We don't offer vouchers. 11:15 tomorrow, 6:00 Monday night." Huh? Yeah, those are your two choices.
Fuck all that.
I'm like, then give me a voucher to rent a car. No. I can either refund you your money and you can try to get another flight somewhere else, or, or your next flight is 11:15 tomorrow if it's good enough, or Monday direct flight. Mind you, I hate flying.
Right. Well, it's some bullshit that they don't like even try to help out at all. Like,
no, stone face. Meh. Sorry. This is all these are your two options. So I'm like, I got to go home. I got to be at work at 6 tomorrow morning. Like, I can't be here. I got to be at work at 6 in the morning. I got to get out of here. Well, you can go downstairs and rent the car if you want, but that's all we got. All right. I'll take the tickets for tomorrow morning. Mind you, I have to fly from Tennessee to Dallas, to Kansas City.
That's stupid.
There's literally the flight there. I watched a quarter of Black Adam and it was done. No, I finished Black Adam plus watched something else because the layover was 5 hours.
Right. Well, that's dumb. Why would they send you to Dallas? That's stupid.
Dude, I was talking to some guy. I was talking to some dude, and they were going back to Boston, and they literally had to go to Oregon from Tennessee to Boston.
What?
I don't get it.
That's retarded.
I don't get it. But yeah. So luckily the hotel had rooms available because they told me the whole sir, we have a lot of, because I asked the day if I could come in a day early, so that way I don't have to worry about getting up, because I hate that stuff. I want to be there early so that way I don't have to worry about getting up and doing all this stuff. And I go, "Hey, can I get a certain rate?" And they're just like, "No." I'm like, "But I'm going to be there for this company I'm working with, and they're getting this rate. So can I just get a rate for the day before?" Mind you, my check-in was available at 12 noon.
Oh.
So it's not like it was a lot of cleaning or anything to do.
Right.
So I go back. Now, I take the tickets. It's 8:00, right? My plane was supposed to leave at 8:50, canceled. It's 8:00 right now. Checked in at 4:30. 4:50, because I couldn't check in more than 4 hours before. Check in at 4:50. Bags are are at the airport at 4:50. 8:30 actually, because I went downstairs to try to rent a car, and the line was longer than the line for people to get their feet washed by Jesus. Okay, this line was past Jerusalem from Tennessee. It was huge. I'm like, well, that's out of the question, because by the time I get to the front, there's not even going to be a moped for me to get home. Okay, so back to the hotel. I get everything situated. Oh no, I'm at the airport. 8:30. I don't get my bag till 11:45.
Damn.
Okay. And one of the other guys who were there to work with this, who's worked with this company, almost gets arrested because he got pissed off because the people at Southwest basically told everybody, "Oh no, your flight's coming off of conveyor belt 1. Okay, your flight's coming off of conveyor belt 2. Oh no, your flight's coming off of conveyor belt 2. No, your flight's coming off of conveyor belt 1. It should be like 20 minutes."
So they were fucking okay. Yeah.
Okay, well,
backwards and shit. And
no, they didn't even know what was going on. This was like the first time they've ever canceled a flight, right? So this guy and these people are pissed. This guy is just like this Texas dude. He's just like, he looks like he's this little kind of stereotypical Mexican kind of dude. Coolest dude. We made friends, you know, but he's like this little dude.
Like, where's Boston. My bed? He's like, over there, SA. I don't know.
And he
might be that one.
Listen, I kind of wish that's how calm he was, but no, he went off. And I'm telling you, he had every right, because they kept telling him his bag was coming off this time. And he was just pissed. So I go and I'm like, all right, what flight number are you supposed to be? I'm looking. Mind you, it's like I've got my bag finally at like 11:30. So I'm going to look for his bag. All of a sudden, I see 5 cops going towards the area where I was coming from. And I go,
you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I kind of think I know where this is going. Kind of have an idea. Now, it is a Nebraska-looking white dude with a typical Tennessee-looking scrawny dude, a big-ass Jack Black dude, another scrawny-ass dude, and another dude looked like, and another dude who looked like Patrick Mahomes before they put him in that super thing for Avengers, Miss Captain America. So they're going over there, and I'm like, oh man. So as I'm passing him, I see him walking this way, and I see the cops coming behind him, and I go, oh, I know where this is going. So they're walking up behind, Sir, can I talk to you? No. Sir, can I talk to you? No. For what? Sir, can I? We got asked to come here. I don't care. No, I have a right to speak, don't I? Yes, sir. But can we have a conversation? Nope, not at all. And I'm just like, oh, dude, come on, let's not get arrested.
Right.
So he's just walking to where, because now they've said his luggage is coming out at Terminal 5. Okay. 11 dude's been there. His flight was supposed to be gone at 5:20. He's been there for like 8 hours, a whole work day. He's been sitting there waiting for his luggage. So he is pissed.
It'd be hard to not be super pissed. Yeah,
I know. And with no answers. They didn't even care.
Right.
So the cops talking to him. He's just walking. He gets to the thing. He's just standing there. And the cop's just like, sir, get your supervisor. I want to see your supervisor. I want to talk to you. Get your supervisor. So he gets the supervisor. Supervisor comes over, starts talking to him. And then he's like, I don't know. That fucking bitch, it's been 8 hours. All I want to know where the fuck my bag is. This is fucking ridiculous. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Blah, 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 going off. And I'm like, oh, man, he going to get arrested.
Right.
And I can't leave the dude. I don't know this dude from Adam, right? But I've just like, in my mind, something's just like, just stay with him. And I'm just like, let me just stay with him because I know something's going to happen. So all of a sudden, the supervisor goes, all right, fine, code 2. He goes, what the fuck you mean code 2? Mind you, the dude's this tall and the cop is about my height. And he's like, what the fuck you mean code 2? And he's like, yo, He's like, no, come on, code 2. Now, the
fuck
big
you
giant
mean code 2?
Nebraska dude, he goes like this, and I see him grab his cuffs, and he's got these dainty ass cuffs. Like I said, this dude is this big. He's not that big. He goes, give me your cuffs to the other guy, because it wasn't gonna hold. It wasn't gonna hold him.
Right.
To the other guy, the other guy got the claspy ones, the ones that like. So he goes. So I see him get. So I walk over to the guy who gave it. I go, dude, I don't understand this. This makes no sense. I go, you're telling me you arrest him because he's been here for 8 hours and these fucking people don't know where his luggage are. They've lost his luggage. So they don't know where it is. They've been telling us all this stuff. The guy's like, yeah, man, I know. I get it. We have to deal with these things all the time. All the time. I'm so sorry. And I go to the supervisor, I go, how would you feel? Would you be pissed off if they just lost your luggage and they were just like, I don't know, it's here. I don't know, it's there. I don't know, it's here.
Right.
So he has a right to be pissed off. Everybody has the right to be pissed off. They can't just call you guys because somebody's getting pissed off and they're not being violent. They're just pissed. And they're allowed to say things how they feel, and they're like, yeah, we get it. We get it. So he goes, all right, what flight were you on? He goes, this flight. So the cop goes like this. He goes to the guy who handed him, the guy number 2 who handed him the cuffs, and he takes a picture of it. He goes to the Southwest. A minute and a half, 90 seconds from the time he took the picture to the time he walked to Southwest to the time he walked back to the supervisor, and he goes, sir, yeah. His bags are in Austin.
Oh, goddamn.
They sent his bags to Texas without him.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta love that we bailed out these fucking
So it was okay for his bags to get to Austin, but not him.
It just shows you how fucking just stupid it is. Like I've heard about that shit happening quite a bit, but that's ridiculous.
Dude, I witnessed it all. Everything that I've heard stories about, people getting arrested for just being pissed off and just being angry with them because they don't know, what to say or what to do. The poor fucking 90 seconds, Scott. The dude's been there for 9 hours. 9 hours. They couldn't give him an answer. Dude was 90 seconds from the time he took the picture to the time he came back and went, sir, yeah, his bags went to Austin. Yeah, without him.
Yeah, you gotta love they're doing their fucking job. Yeah.
Oh, and the dude was pissed, and he's like, see, that's all I wanted. I could have been out of here 9 hours ago.
Right.
You'd have just told me my bag was in Austin. Mind you, that bag must have flew at 1 o'clock because his flight was until 5. And the poor dude, and they even announced his flight, and they're like, flight blah blah blah, is that baggage claim number 5? And I'm looking, I'm like, there's none of that flight coming out of this baggage claim, my friend.
That's fucked up.
Oh, dude, I was just, I didn't know what to say. I was flabbergasted. And we were driving back to the hotel, and we're laughing. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't really know the dude from Adam. Like I said, we ended up getting to know each other. Very cool dude, very nice. Fucking, he's the coolest shit. His name's Brett. He's like, I'm the only Mexican you'll be called Brett. I'm like, oh,
maybe.
Yeah, but yeah. So we were talking, and we were talking about it, and I was telling him what I saw from my side, and he's just like, yeah, I bet you never. And I was like, no, I have friends that have done that, so I kind of knew where it was going. And then we started talking. We went back to the hotel, and he's like, I need a beer. And I was like, all right, man, I'll get you a beer and a shot, whatever. Like, you've had a rough. I got my shit. You don't got your shit. He also lost his wallet, so he didn't know how he was getting on the plane the next day.
That's fucked up.
So he lost his wallet too. So he had no idea how he was getting on the plane.
Dude's going through some things. That's fucked up.
So I was like, a beer and a shot is good. So I got myself a Heineken 00, which is good, man. You feel like you're not like you feel like you're still part of the crew, kind of like,
Right,
and
yeah, I
just
get you.
like, I for the first time in my life, I didn't finish a beer, which was like breathtaking to me. I was like, I don't finish it. I mean, it's a 0.0, but still. But so we're drinking, and I go,
What's up, Jackie?
"What's up, Jackie?" And I go, "Dude, did you really have to tell them to go fuck themselves after they agreed with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got a temper." I'm like, I get that you had a temper. I was like, we don't really know each other, so I wasn't gonna stop you because I didn't know if you were gonna fly off at me. And I was just like, I'm not having this dude fly off at me. I don't know. I don't want to get into a fight. But like, he was just like, yeah, you're right. I was just like, the cop was agreeing with you, dude. The cop was on your side, and you told him, go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh man. I was like, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Oh man. So yeah, that was my
Your good old trip.
fantastical time in Tennessee.
Well, good times and good to come back to some good old bullshit that we have going on with all the COVID stuff.
Man.
What was it? The congressional hearing?
Yep. They had
Okay.
the select subcommittee hearing investigations.
I know Jackie probably watched all that. She's definitely one that likes to watch the whole thing, which I wish I would have, but we got some decent clips from it.
Dude, it is like when people say fuck the amnesty, when you watch these things, you go, yeah, fuck the amnesty, because these people wanted, they lied for 3 years.
Oh, straight up, yeah.
They lied for 3 years. Yeah, I've had worse. You know, I know you have. You actually went to jail. Actually, I don't know if you went to jail, but yeah, they fucking lied for 3 years.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, well, lied and pushed out people that obviously we're going to hear from some of these clips, but like pushed out people that were part of the whole deal too.
Yeah.
Redmond is going to be one of the main ones, but it's like whenever shit like that is happening, that should show you that's a big fucking sign that something good wasn't happening.
Like, you just, I don't want to ruin it, but just like, dude, to just all of a sudden just be like, meh, we don't need them.
Right. And what's going to be weird though too is like as this is coming out, I'm going to just keep waiting for the people that are going to defend Fauci, defend it all, and you know,
dude, they were going after the one dude because David Duke talked about his book.
Who?
Good question. These people were, yeah, it was insane. They were
listening to the Dems question these people's. See, I didn't get to hear any of the Democrats really question them. That's the parts that I didn't get to hear so much.
So okay.
Here, I want to play one of these first clips real quick.
Okay.
This is going to be well, you'll see it in a minute, but yeah, it's going to be one of the first ones that I found of. I think it's Redmond or Redfield. I kept saying Redmond. Redfield being asked. Well, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Here, let me blow this up. And
in a recent Energy and Commerce Oversight hearing, I asked the NIH acting director about the NIH's gross negligence in monitoring the EcoHealth Alliance grant and subgrant to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. He admitted that we might not have had all of the information and research reports from WIV and EcoHealth. He insisted, however, that he was sure that the coronavirus research at WIV was completely unrelated to SARS-CoV-2. With the information we know and the fact that China deleted data and asked NIH to delete data, do you believe that we can have certainty that the virus did not come from the Wuhan lab and that US funding was not used for COVID-19 related research?
Yeah, absolutely. We can't do that. I will say, if you go back and look, it's declassified now. and I'm sure you all have your classified briefings, but the declassified information now, in September of 2019, 3 things happened in that lab. One is they deleted the sequences. It was highly irregular. So researchers don't usually like to do that. Second thing they did was they changed the command and control of the lab from the civilian control to the military control. Highly unusual, and I've been involved in dual-use labs when I was in the military. And the third things they did, which I think is really telling, is they let a contractor redo the ventilation system in that laboratory. So I think clearly there was strong evidence that there was a significant event that happened in that laboratory in September. It's now been declassified. You can read it. I'm sure there's more classified information around it.
See, and that's like the main thing. The
Thermite
deleting
paint.
sequences, like, why would you delete those? That's highly suspect to me. That's one of the main things,
He does have an Amish beard,
right?
but like, yeah,
It's like one full connection just around the sides too. It's pretty funny, but yeah.
they deleted the sequencing. They switched it from the civilians to the military, and then listen, we've had this we try to get a new ventilation system in here. Just so happens that it was right before this happened. It just timing, like Jesse Ventura said, they were painting it with thermite paint. The thermite paint. You explain to me.
You know what's
the
funny?
floor.
Jesse Ventura and Mike Lindell sound the same. They both have that same.
My pillow. It's kind of like
This is welcome to My Pillow.
It
It sounds like it's more like Jesse Ventura, and then he's got like the My Pillow guy.
He's like Jesse Ventura on cocaine,
right?
What?
Jesse Ventura light.
Thermite paint my pillow. It's my pillow.
It's funny now that you said, like, I just thought about it. I'm like, they do kind of sound the same. That's funny as hell. All right.
I mean, it's so, but also, so this is what I was saying with the present, you fucker.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's all about.
Which one? The plotter pro letterhead? It's just a freaking
some bullshit on
Twitch.
Just but yeah.
Your mother's Toto. I forgot to do this stupid.
The sound share.
Oh, share tab audio. Oh, it's automatically on now. Ooh.
There you go.
That's awesome. All right. So we can't. He's a scientist, but this guy kind of might, he might be racist.
Women that supported are people of good faith.
Pandemics. Instead, House Republicans invited a writer whose extreme and dangerous views have been echoed by white supremacists to testify on the issue of the novel's coronavirus origins. In May of 2014, David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, hosted a radio show praising Mr. Wade and his...
I'm sorry, the what?
He didn't even say it right.
Okay. The Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, like that's the same thing as a old girl, KJP, the other day. She's like, Norfolk, Suffolk. Like, come on, man. Like, get this shit right. If you're going to talk shit about it or even say it right. Ku Klux Klans?
Ku Klux Klans.
Well,
listen, if you want me to stop, just do this or something, so that way I know to stop if you want to say something. I forgot to tell you this before we went on. I was like, yeah, we need to do some sign just in case, or like point to your head eye or something. I don't know. Do something. Pull out your wiener and just wing it around. Hey, can you stop? Well, okay. Well, no,
then we will have to go to OnlyFans.
Book, A Troublesome Inheritance. Mr. Wade, are you aware of David Duke's praise of your views on his website?
When my book first came out, Mr. Ruiz, I think the extreme right wing thought it would help their cause, but they very soon dropped referring to it because when they actually read it, as many people who talk about my book have not,
well,
they found that
David Duke did read your book. In fact, he had a whole radio talk show about it and described it in detail, and he did endorse your views. On a post, davidduke.com, promoting his radio show, he states, quote, "Hear Dr. David Duke speak on the former science editor for the New York Times, who has now essentially embraced the scientific..."
I like how source davidduke.com is in yellow, just in case nobody knows where to go.
Right.
To see any of this stuff from David Duke, it's in yellow.
Right.
There.
Right there.
Racial truth that Dr. Duke wrote extensively about in My Awakening and has written about for more than 35 years. You see, Mr. Wade's book deploys dangerous tropes and stereotypes about minority communities under the guise of science. His assertions define the overwhelming consensus of scientists and researchers, including those in the field.
I don't like Asian Sheldon sitting next to him with a 17 head. Look at that thing.
Jeez.
Look
I didn't
at
even
that.
notice that till just now.
I
Wow.
just kept on watching him just do this, and I'm like, well, you can see the whole, like when you see a football helmet and some,
Right.
you could see the whole stadium. That's what you can kind of see off his head. Look, there's 17 lights.
In the words of Mike Epps, that guy doesn't have dreams, he has movies.
Fields of population genetics and evolutionary biology. Dr. Redfield is a
I
former
think the
CDC
fucking
director.
hair
Do these
yarmulke.
views
Now I
trouble you?
can't quit looking.
Distracted. I'm sorry, I was distracted.
Would you-
He was distracted by the fucking movie theater that's sitting next to him.
Sorry, I'm distracted by the glare off this guy's fucking forehead. I can't even fucking see the sign behind him.
Oh my god, look at that thing. Just shave it, dude. Just fucking
Yeah, just give
shave
in.
it.
Give in, bro. Give in.
Just jeez. Where's Jackie?
That's gonna be hilarious when we find out this guy is like 27.
We're 22, he's an intern.
Mm-hmm.
They never said that what is in the book was racist, and the subcommittee for economic growth and energy policy, Cory Bush, went on a thing about how one of the guys was racist too. Yeah, they brought it to race. They didn't. There was no substance of, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It was just all about, a lot of it was about this guy being racist.
See, and yeah, this doesn't surprise me. All the Dems do is call the Republican witnesses racist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they do. It's just and I just don't understand how people aren't sick and tired of it by now.
It's like almost like every time something starts happening, as soon as I picture one of the liberals or Democrats coming up, it's like I just picture them stretching, like do something. They're like racist.
Oh, and what's his face has got that bandana on again. I saw him with it on again today.
Well,
like, what is he doing?
I think it's doesn't he have like some sort of cancer, I think. But the whole thing is like, just shave your head then. I mean, it's kind of weird that he's still wearing the band. Just shave your head. I mean, I understand whatever's happening with you, but man.
Something very inappropriate just almost shot out of my mouth, but I'm just gonna let it go.
Views that I mentioned and the David Duke's endorsements of Mr. Wade's book trouble you?
I'm not a fan of David Duke at all. I do think that Nicholas Wade, and I've followed his work over 30 years, is an outstanding science reporter and has contributed substantially, both in nature science and, of course, leading the New York Times.
You know, there are 140.
But you didn't answer the question. Is he a racist? Is he a racist? I don't care if you like his work. I don't care if you don't think he's got good work. That man is liked by David Duke.
It's best I can make fun of guilt. Yeah.
I don't. Next, anyway.
Faculty members and experts who strongly disagree with you. In fact, more than 140 faculty members and experts jointly condemned Mr. Wade's book in a joint letter to the New York Times book review stating, quote, "We reject Wade's implication that our findings substantiate his guesswork. They do not. We are in full agreement that there is no support from the field of population genetics for Wade's conjectures." Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter this letter into the record.
My only comment.
I'm sorry, Dr. Redfield. The point is inviting someone with discredited and dangerous views like Mr. Wade's to testify on the.
How is it discredited? Because 130 something people wrote a letter.
Right, exactly. And also, who are those 130 whatever people? Who are they paid by? What's their all that shit? Like a lot of that goes into all of that. I'm sorry, but like every time I hear anything about either side, to be honest. Whenever it comes to any sort of a test or anything, substantiated views, but like, who are they paid by? Who That seems to be the main thing. And I mean, it's funny to say, but the movie Aaron Brockovich kind of proved that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
You
was going
know?
to quote, because I think it was oh my God, he's going to hate me. Calvin Spike.
Ah.
Spike had a quote. Was it Spike that had a quote, or someone else was basically, no, it wasn't. It was someone else, but somebody was talking about the movie Aaron Brockovich, and in the real life, the lady went to this
Yeah.
Aaron Brockovich
went
went
to
to this
Ohio.
to the lady's house, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor, I have all these ailments, but the doctor didn't said it wasn't from the water. The doctor didn't said it
Oh.
wasn't from this. The doctor said it wasn't from that. So it has nothing to do with the water that was bad." And Aaron Brockovich was like, "Well, who found you the doctor? Oh, the company that that everybody's trying to
Exactly.
sue is the one that got me the doctor. So the doctor's being paid by the company that you're suing to tell you that you're fine and everything's good and the water's fine." And the lady was just like, and she ran out and got her kids out of the pool and everything like that. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
can
all
f-
true.
you can listen. Michael Jackson found a doctor that would ply him with propofol, and Elvis found a doctor that would give him that would stuff his colon like peanut butter.
Well,
Okay.
it's like the whole thing is that money talks. Like I mean, and there's like that's one of the things that I do agree with in certain aspects when people talk shit about capitalism is some of that, but it's also because it's like the way that the capitalism is ran in this fucking country is how it gets by like that, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And nobody
listen,
looks into shit. Like, and I love whenever I hear people saying like, well, they wouldn't lie, but like, motherfucker, you're crazy if you think that.
the same people that want to trust the government about getting a jab are the same people who want to trust the government with socialism.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a
Yeah,
thing
you want to
today.
keep trusting them and keep making it bigger, but yeah, we're 32 trillion in fucking debt. Yeah, they're batting 1,000, buddy. Let's keep fucking going.
Socialism works. I mean, we keep paying these people to do nothing but waste our money. Let's continue with
Yeah.
this racist diatribe.
Come on, let's go,
The
Yamaka.
origins of this pandemic, which has disproportionately harmed communities of color, is not responsible and credible oversight. Instead, it undermines the credibility of this select subcommittee. Now, let me turn to you, Dr. Allwater. You are a practicing physician, a professor of medicine, and the former president of the Infectious Disease Society of America, representing more than 12,000 physicians, scientists, and public health experts who specialize
I
in
wish this
infectious
guy would just
diseases
get to
like
his question.
COVID-19. For the sake of putting people over politics, what credible steps can be taken to advance our understanding of the novel coronavirus's origins in order to prevent future pandemics?
I think building trust amongst scientists and public health communities is essential because pathogens can emerge from where we least expect it. We need to have the tools available to rapidly analyze and then develop tests. I had dealt with patients very early in the pandemic where we were making educated guesses whether they had COVID-19. We need to have tests that can be widely dispersed quickly.
You need to have tests
and
that
treat-
aren't the PCR
Dr.
bullshit.
Allwater, is it possible that we will never have the concrete evidence to determine with certainty the origins of COVID, whether it was a lab leak or animal transmission?
Well, I think that's entirely possible. And therefore, we need to focus more on also be
So-
forward-looking as well
so-
as looking back.
So having said that and being forward-looking, would it be responsible to start coming up with solutions to deal with whether it was a lab leak or animal transmission? For example, is there an international body that promotes safety guidelines and has the authority to have inspections and incentivizes foreign nation labs to have transparency so that we can be assured that labs are safe in foreign countries, especially in not so friendly foreign countries?
Yes, and I think as already been hinted, that I think is essential for general protection.
In my research, I couldn't find one. Do you know of any such body that exists?
No, but I'm saying that's absolutely necessary.
And what can we do if it was an animal transmission?
Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it?
Lives. What can we do
Right.
to better our ability to prevent?
get where
that?
he's
I know
going
it's
with it.
difficult. Identify it early and contain it in other countries before it spreads.
Basically where he's going is how much more of the American people's money can we spend around the world and not figure out where this is coming from, but try to prevent this so we don't have this happen again. Forget trying to find out if they lied to us. Forget to find out if it actually is possible that a bat can bite somebody. Yeah, another global institution. If it comes from a bat, because the other Amish chinstrap dude said that he says that it's impossible for it to go from human to change to from animal to human to human. So
he's trying to hint at fucking actually being able to do the gain of function then.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's the problem, bro. Like
they actually talk about, I mean, this whole thing is just astonishing. The whole, I mean, it's 3 hours long, but it plays like a movie, dude. It is like,
right.
Because you kind of get like, you get one, and it happens on both sides. So, with the January 6th committee, whatever, it was like, well, thank you for coming in. When you were bludgeoned,
right. I'd say, I'd like to see some more like what the Dems do actually question them on, like Redfield and stuff. I would like to see a little bit more of that. I'm going to play this one. Let me play this one clip real quick of Redfield. And this is one of the main ones that at least stands out to me because this actually shows some of the main corruption about a lot of the bullshit. Let's see. Am I sharing? All right, cool. Make sure it's on. And here we go.
Dr. Redfield, I want to stick with you. You have said before that you were locked out of conversations about the lab leak by Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins. Do you think they kept you out of the conversations because you believe COVID-19 may have come from a lab?
Yeah, I think I made it very clear in January to all of them why we had to aggressively pursue this. And I let them know as a virologist that I didn't see that this was anything like SARS or MERS because they never learned how to transmit human to human, that I felt this virus was too infectious for humans. There was a lot of evidence that lab actually published in 2014 that they put the H2 receptor into humanized mice so it could infect human tissue. I think, we had to really seriously go after the fact that it came from the lab. And they knew that that was how I was thinking, although I thought we had to go after both hypotheses. And I was told later, I didn't know I was excluded. I didn't know there was a February 1st conference call until the Freedom of Information came out with the emails. And I was quite upset as the CDC director that I was excluded from those discussions.
That's fucked up.
Why would they do this?
Because I had a different point of view, and I was told they made a decision that they would keep this confidential until they came up with a single narrative, which I will argue is antithetical to science.
Exactly.
Science never
Believe the science, bro.
single narrative. We foster, as my colleague.
It's like if you can't question it, it ain't science. If you can't question it, that's just straight up fucking fascism in one narrative. It's authoritarian. It's believe this, don't believe anything else.
Here just said, we foster debate.
Mhm.
And we're confident that with debate, science will eventually get to the truth. This was an a priori decision that there's one point of view that we're going to put out there, and anyone who doesn't agree with it is going to be sidelined. And as I say, I was only the CDC director,
Right.
and I was sidelined.
Only.
Yeah.
He was only the director of the CDC, which now apparently, is an elected body of a government that we allowed to make our decisions, along with the WHO.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here's Miss Dingle. She looks like Dangle from Reno 911, so I kept calling her Dangle. I think it's Dingle. I just kept going, yeah, fucking Dangle.
No, that's funny.
Let's see.
Oh man, did you hear fucking that Jim Jordan going off too?
No, I didn't hear.
I'll be playing that in a little bit
Okay.
too. That guy, I love when he goes the fuck off.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, I found it very disheartening to see public health professionals across this country vilified and attacked for supporting COVID-19 mitigation measures, basic safety measures, and later vaccines. They were trying to keep people safe.
Okay, she's a Deb then.
Yes. I want everyone to know I take this committee very seriously. I want the facts. Dr. Redfield will confirm to you I was one of the first people to call him about Wuhan and had a lot of questions and never let up. So I want the facts. But I hope and say to my colleagues on the other side, we cannot go down a dangerous path by pushing unfounded conspiracies about Dr. Fauci and other long-serving career public health officials. Here is the reality.
Mind you, they were all asked, is the possibility that the virus
I got
came,
I beat the virus.
I made it. Is it a conspiracy theory to think that it came from a lab instead of a bat? And all four of them said no. And mind you, the one guy at the end, Wetzel, he said it. I'm a Democratic, I'm a liberal. You know, I am for this, I'm for that, I'm for this. I think he even said he was gay. I don't know. But he was like, I am staunch liberal.
Right.
But I have questions.
Right.
So, mind you, keep that in mind while she's going off about conspiracy theories and you know, false information. The doctors all said there's a possibility that it's not a conspiracy theory.
Like many of you, I am reading many articles, not just over the past weeks. Dr. Redfield knows I've been on this from the beginning. Talked to researchers, doctors, frontline nurses, public health officials. They all agree on one fact. After the billions of dollars on pandemic-era upgrades to labs and data and surveillance, after all the studies and white papers about emergency preparedness, the U.S. still lacks two things in the public health arsenal: people and trust. These continued smears on public health officials is destroying them. I strongly urge everyone on this committee, but my Republican colleagues specifically, from rehashing unfounded theories and other public health theories that Dr. Fauci and other public health experts have blocked investigations into the pandemic origins. Let's get the facts. Dr. Fauci has said that we need to get the bottom.
They did.
The clip that I just played literally said that they blocked old boy out, chin strap fucking Redfield out from even talking about if it would, like, oh my God.
February 1st of 2020, he was blocked out.
Yeah.
February 4th, they came and said that this was an issue.
Right. And as he even said, he didn't even know that he was blocked out of that fucking call until the Freedom of Information Act.
Mind you, these motherfuckers for the first couple weeks were telling everybody, don't be xenophobic. Yep. Nancy Pelosi was out for the Chinese New Year.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Go about your life. Donald Trump is xenophobic. Go about your life. Chuck Schumer, you know, he's just being xenophobic, you know. And then now this. Remember that. Once again, no amnesty.
Yep.
Because you guys did this. You people were the ones who made this into what it is. If we just had civil conversations about it and not, you know, try to beat each other over the head, you know, for not wearing a mask, which now is proven once again that it didn't work. When, you know, you couldn't have a civil conversation, it was put the mask on or shut up.
When like that propaganda ass footage out of China of motherfuckers dying in the streets and shit. Like, come on.
Yeah. Once again, the country, the country that up to a few years ago had a one-child policy. They were killing children if they weren't having the kind of children they want. Now they have a problem because there's not enough girls to repopulate.
Right.
Because everybody had boys.
Yeah, let's trust everything from them.
10 years ago, I believe it was. Let's trust them and let them tell us where this came from.
Oh, by the way, they still have like, I think, what is their death count that they said? It's still like 6,000 or something like
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I mean,
it-
to be honest, if like you want to, if you like want to fucking halfway think about it, who knows? Like it might be just a little bit more than that whenever you actually died from or died with.
Well, I mean, every time somebody had it, they bombed the whole building.
Mm-hmm.
They raided. They just, oh, they're dead. Well, that's negative.
Dude, motherfuckers died in a house fire because they welded doors shut during that shit.
Yeah, it was a building fire. It was a building
crazy.
fire. The whole building was on fire. They welded the door shut, and they were like, "No."
Well, let's see what she has to say, Miss Dingle. Let's
Goody dangle, baby.
see the rest she has to
The
say.
novel coronavirus originated and have said, and I've heard him say, like I talked to Dr. Redfield, he has an open mind about the virus's origins. To all of you and to all of us in this room, I say it's critical to rebuild trust, and that continued attacks on public health officials only serves to further discredit people's confidence in our public health institutions.
Like the people you fired for not getting vaccinated, you fuck.
Was she talking about, how about attacks on Redfield and shit too? Are you talking about that, or are you just talking about the attacks on the ones that you agree with?
Yeah. What about the nurses and the firefighters that were all let go because they were public workers and you let them go?
Mhm.
Nurses, you let go because they didn't take your vaccine or anything else. You let all those people go, but let's put more trust.
Yeah. All right, Dingleberry. Let's see.
Makes it almost impossible, and it's challenging to recruit workers in the field, and it undermines people's trust in science. We're seeing it. We know that basic things like washing your hands, covering your mouth when you cough, and immunization save lives. And now, because of all of what we're doing, people aren't.
Did she just say meow? She just said meow.
Yeah, meow.
And meow.
Aren't getting measles vaccines. They're not getting chickenpox. We're seeing the return of diseases that we've never seen before. We have to take seriously that this rhetoric is perpetuating people's distrust in flu shots and many other things. So let's work together, all of my colleagues, to protect the
Ma'am,
American
do you have a
people.
question?
That's our job. Dr. Arwater, how
there.
does misinformation surrounding the possible origins of COVID-19 and its spread damage the relationship between doctors and patients?
Well, my sense is it's a very frequent question that, patients just ask me in the office, what do you think? And I don't have any direct knowledge, but it's obviously on a lot of people's minds. And I think if it was handled objectively, it would be less political. And therefore, it sort of removes out of the realm of also dovetailing with other public health mitigation measures, which you so appropriately put forward. For the first part of the pandemic, we all wore masks. I tell you, no one on my faculty got COVID-19 until people started to not wear masks as well. I think the efforts of
I got a question. When were people allowed to stop wearing masks? After they got the juice injection?
Oh yeah. Well, that's what they said, that you were supposed to be able to. Then all of a sudden people started getting there like, oh, you're still gonna have to wear some masks.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It doesn't work and you can still spread it. But we're still gonna say these masks work, even though.
But
They
he
don't.
just said that people around his office, when the mask
Right.
came off, because politics can't get into it, yet they were making policies
Mm-hmm.
for people mandating masks. So, like typhoid in disgusting places like New York. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't get a homeless person to wash their ass to get a job. You think you're gonna get them to wash their hands after they have just defecated all over the streets of Manhattan? I don't think
Right.
so. Especially
Right.
during COVID, that place was desolate.
Oh yeah.
That's all there was crazy people walking all over the place. I mean, it's just they live in this bubble. I mean, I don't listen. I know I'm telling tales out of school, but apparently, the people who make up these rules live in this bubble that's surrounded by walls, so nobody else can be in that bubble. But walls don't work.
Yeah, it's called elitism.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. They don't see the homeless people because you know why? Because they have the DC Metro Police shoo them away. So the homeless people aren't allowed there.
Well, that one day, whenever somebody asked him about all the homeless people and shit, or asked Pelosi when she was in that restaurant, that one dude, he like was saying, "How about all the homeless people in your district and shit? While you're giving money to
to
Ukraine?" And and she just didn't say shit.
It's for the good of you. It's for the good of you people.
I don't even know what's going on. I'm fucking wasted right now.
So I give it a little bit more. That was the one you just saw. And this guy, boy, this guy's a happy camper, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. He looks like it.
Thume from Maryland for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you and the ranking member for convening us on this very important and difficult topic, one that all Americans, regardless of where they live, regardless of what they do, are concerned about. And I had come to this hearing expecting, Mr. Chairman, that we would find a way to peel off the things that didn't matter.
He's got a terrible
so that we
last
could get to the
name, too.
things that did matter, whether it was a lab leak or infection through animals. I think we've got to pursue both of those paths if we are ever to get the truth. However, I must go back to what my ranking member said, that I am.
Wait, what do you think he's gonna go back to?
The COVID theory?
Nope. Come on, give me another one. Guess where he wants to touch. Guess what he wants to touch back up on.
Oh, David Duke.
Bingo.
Yeah, I figured. Because everything is racist.
That this hearing now gets layered over with the issue of race in a very strong way with the presence of Mr. Wade. And Mr. Wade, I have read your book.
This guy's the shitty
and I'm
Morgan
appalled by
Freeman.
it. And I would hope that giving you this platform does not paint or taint the issue that we're trying to get to and deal with here. You're not a physician.
Neither is
not
Bill Gates.
a physician's assistant. You're
Neither is
not
Bill Gates.
a scientist. You've never done
Neither is LeBron
a
James.
peer-reviewed paper.
Neither is
And
anybody
yet
they let
you've
in the
got
White
an
House.
opinion, which is fine, except that it's steeped in this conspiracy theory that somehow or another minorities are so genetically different that they are culpable in some sort of way. And I don't like that at all.
I might have to read his
in
dude's
your
'cause
book,
That sounds crazy.
The Troublesome Inheritance.
Thanks
you
for the
talk
plug.
about a number of different things, and David Duke talks about it and says that he really endorses your position on blacks and Jews.
This guy looks like he's having a fucking ball of a time. Let me tell you. Holy shit.
He's like, can somebody shoot me in the fucking face? Like,
My parents could have got me anybody. They got me an internship with him. This guy. Now I just got to hear about race all the time. I get it. I'm a Carmel gentleman, but my Lord, do I
Dude,
have to hear about it every day? This guy just pulled me into the toilet this morning. Go, hey, you see what I just did there?
yeah,
Hey,
this
it's
dude's
racism.
This dude's face just screams, I hate every single fucking second of this. Like Ben Affleck at the fucking Grammys or whatever, when he was with J-Lo. Oh my God, she looked all happy. He's like, oh my God.
This guy's face just sums up every Gen X, Gen Z, whatever it is. This is every Gen Zer at work. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Can't I just use my parents' money? Why?
Oh,
God.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm pretty sure that Wade's dude's book talked about how African Americans are. You read that word.
Susceptible to sickle cell. I think that they actually.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I think they're only because of the color of their skin. I think they're the only ones who can get it.
Basically, yeah. As far as I know,
I mean, if you listen to the great Patrice O'Neill, he says it. He goes, he'd always joke on Opie and Anthony about like, you guys don't have to worry. I got diabetes and sickle cell. I get sickle cell. Y'all motherfuckers can't get sickle cell. He's like, I got diabetes. Man, I've been listening to him a lot on YouTube. That man, if you don't listen
Patrice
to
was
that,
the shit.
if you don't listen to that man's,
He went on Alex Jones too. Yeah,
yeah. Alex Jones turned him.
Mhm.
Alex Jones turned him.
Yeah, because
was
he
like,
found out about the Federal Reserve and shit.
Yeah.
And he started going off about it. He was like, I didn't know it was neither Federal nor Reserve. Like, it ain't neither.
I want to do, but and my wife doesn't like when I do this, but whenever I drop the M-bomb, I do it like Patrice because it's just like, nigga! it's just the way he says it. It's just so like, it's kind of like warming and like, oh man, that's the way I say it. And it's just fun. My wife hates when I say it.
The book was championed by the infamous white supremacists Jared Taylor, John Demetshire, and Steve Saylor. The book has been promoted on a neo-Nazi forum.
Oh boy.
That is linked to almost 100 racially motivated attempted murders over the last 5 years. And it troubles me that, and I'm going to ask unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, that the New York Times piece for which you wrote actually said that your theory has come off at the wheels, particularly when you talk about East Asians and their genetic makeup. I'd like to ask that the David Duke statement and the copy from his website be entered into the record. And I'd like that the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks these things annually,
not them.
and their assessment,
The dude that
which is
just got
similar, be
fucking arrested for that
added.
Antifa riot at the cop station. Oh yeah, let's fucking enter something that place said.
Oh boy, it's like I said, there's so much stuff just happened.
To the record.
Without objection.
Now, I got to tell you, I spent 5 terms in this body.
Too many.
I was so troubled by what I saw in the streets with bias and hate crimes that I actually gave up my seat in the Congress. And I went back to work in community groups. I ended up being the president of the NAACP so that nationally I could work against this sort of thing. It is repulsive. And so here I am back again.
Because he did such a great job with
drove
that.
me out of here to begin with. And I don't want to take away from this hearing. I don't want to take away from what I said earlier, that we've got to go down both paths.
So why go to
But
race
it just
COVID?
burns me that I would know that I'm doing that on a forum where somebody with these sort of beliefs is also a part of. Mr. Arward, I want to go to you for a minute. I know you don't represent Johns Hopkins. You're representing the Association on Infection Diseases. I have a lot of...
Excuse me, sir, do I get a chance to respond briefly?
It's my time. No, you do not.
I know.
And I hate that. I hate it from both sides. You make an accusation at somebody, and then you don't give them a chance to respond.
Yeah, it's like I just get to talk shit about you, and you
Yeah.
can't talk back.
Yeah, like Fauci. And the thing is that, and it depends on who it is, who's running it. Then, you know, they either get the time or they don't get the time. Because when Fauci was going against Rand Paul, they gave Fauci all day.
Oh yeah.
Go back at Rand Paul. Excuse me, sir. Sir, you don't know. You don't. It's not. I can't get my Fauci done right now. I'm all messed up. You know, it's not what you think. It's not. You Senator, you're the one who's wrong. You're the one who's misrepresenting everything.
You're misrepresenting everything, and I think that you don't know what you're talking about. When he was all nervous and fucking flipping that rubber band, when he was, somebody broke that down too. That video, I was like, man, he looks nervous as fuck during that. Actually, yeah,
because of this.
Yeah,
because of everything that's coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of everything that's coming out, okay. People were thrown off of Teams or thrown off of emails and not included in things because they had a difference of opinion.
Yeah,
thrown off Twitter, thrown off Facebook.
That's like
thrown
the most
off,
shady.
You know, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, but listen. We're gonna talk about COVID-19. First, let me get all this race shit out of the way because everything's racist.
Right.
No, you do not.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for Hopkins. I spent 10 years on the board of trustees there. I'm a graduate of the institution, and I know that you speak with a great deal of
I wonder
background.
who paid for his
and
education.
Even though in this instance you're speaking on the Association of Infectious Diseases, I take all of that very
Bet
seriously.
you wasn't a taxpayer. Well, actually, now
And I want to just say ask you one quick thing here about going down both of these paths. And how much can you say in a short period of time does the information obtained through this hearing and other hearings and the intelligence community, how very important is that to bolstering the efforts to prepare for any future pandemics?
Well, I think obviously getting to the origins is on everyone's minds, but also understanding what happened should also help prepare us for moving ahead. And I can't overstate the needs in our public health, which have been generally less well-funded than other measures and other diseases to help protect our country.
Thank you. I've got to reclaim the little bit of time I have left. And Mr. Wade, let me just say this personally. For a race of people who have suffered, endured, and survived 3 centuries of slavery, oppression, deprivation, degradation, denial, and disprivilege, I'm absolutely offended that you would have the opportunity to take this platform and to add anything of significance to it. I yield back.
Well, I don't have anything in common with the
Mis-
views of
Mr. Wade,
white supremacy.
Mr. Wade, hold on a second. I do think that
It's
Mr.
bullshit
Wade
that he
deserves
just
the opportunity
just
to
attacks
take
him.
2 minutes to respond to accusations made. But I do want to get back to the topic at hand, which is the origins of COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry for this distraction from the work of the committee. I'm sorry, too, that Ms. Mfusi did not like my book. I'm not a racist. I don't have anything in common with the views of white supremacists. Just because
They love you, though.
Just because David Duke likes my book.
All of them love you.
I mean, maybe he likes
Mr.
Beethoven,
Mfuma,
too.
would you please let him respond? He did not interrupt you.
I didn't know that he got time to respond.
He is right now, bitch.
Chairman's
It seems a
decision.
not very good argument that David Duke likes my book. Maybe he likes many things. That doesn't mean to say they're all wrong. I did not write my book for him. I also like to make the clearest possible distinction between writing about the biology of race, which is a purely scientific issue, and racist statements with which I have absolutely no sympathy. My book is explicitly anti-racist. I stress the fact that we are all variations on the same human genome, which I think is a very important and unifying fact. I think the arguments made against the book were for entirely political reasons. The minority member referred to the 120 scientists who attacked my book in Science. Well, there's a nice story about Einstein that someone told him that 100 scientists had written a book saying he was wrong, and he replied, well, if I were wrong, one would have been enough. That's how science works, not on the number of people against it. It works on facts. And those letter writers had no good point and no mistake in my book, so I don't think their criticism should be taken carefully. I'm sorry for the disruption and unhappiness this issue has caused, and let's get back to the issue of the hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I now recognize Dr. Miller.
At least he got to say his part, because dude, that's yeah. I know I was waiting for that guy to stand back up and just be like, racist.
But he's like, they all white supremacists like you. Like, come on, dude. All right, I don't know which. Oh, MG.
Oh, fucking what's it? Can't remember the fucking.
Oh, this lady. Hold on, this lady is.
What the fuck is that dude? That dude's name? That she looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I forgot that fucking Lee, whatever.
What? Lee Greenwood?
No, I forgot his fucking name. Whenever I shared that one picture, god damn it, I can't remember the dude's name. Lee, the college football guy. I'll try to fucking find it. Go ahead.
For the love of all that is holy. I don't know what that was for, Jackie.
Oh, that was whenever dude was just in the last thing, whenever that guy Moomfei or whatever his fucking name is, was just packing. Mufasa was going after fucking old boy for his book.
I now recognize Ms. Takuda from Hawaii for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Following up on the gentleman's from Maryland's comments, as an Asian American woman representing an ethnically diverse district that would find offense with Mr. Wade's work and conclusions in regards to race, I ask that the letter to the editor, signed by more than 100 geneticists and biologists opposing the use of their research in Mr. Wade's book, be entered officially into the record. This speaks to his professional.
Listen, don't be racist, Jackie. That's not Mazie Hirano.
believe me, she's offended already. Like, but Takuda, she sounds like a fucking power tool company. She's offended right now.
No credibility and calls into question his very presence on this panel.
Without objection.
Thank you. One thing the COVID-19 pandemic made clear is the need for reliable, real-time public health data. Without it, people of color and the most vulnerable in our communities are disproportionately impacted. We don't have the infrastructure to get needed resources to them, and people die. We in Congress must continue to support our federal public health agencies, not just in determining the origins of COVID-19.
I mean, Jackie does make a point. She's the worst. Like, get it? You're from Hawaii. But you know, how much does it cost for a gallon of milk in Hawaii? Like $37 because they have to get it from the mainland.
Oh yeah.
Sending over hospital equipment, everything to Hawaii is a little expensive.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I get it, but everything's expensive in Hawaii.
Oh
It's
yeah.
an idea.
Everything.
Move to the mainland. They don't want to. Okay. Then
Yeah.
be you, do you. You know,
Right.
It's just it baffles my mind. Like, you're spending $42 for a 2-liter cola, and like, you know, disproportionate amount of.
Should have fucking like slab house out there. 2 bedrooms is like fucking $500,000 and shit.
Yeah.
But in improving data and analytics technology so we can pinpoint and slow the spread of infectious disease. At the beginning of the pandemic, we observed difficulties scaling up the appropriate public health infrastructure to track and keep pace with COVID-19. This was a catastrophic wake-up call that we were grossly unprepared to deal with the pandemic. Coupled with a lack of action, admission, and leadership at the Trump administration, people died. Dr. Allwater, let's focus on the facts and let's put people first. We need to understand.
First of all, can you explain to me how it got to Hawaii?
Right. Well,
If it was all by people's breath, I'd get to Hawaii. Took a trip.
well, I guess a lot of people are traveling. That'd be about, yeah. That's about it.
I mean, you figured with as bad as everybody said it was going to be, Hawaii would probably be wiped off the map when you'd like,
Yeah.
but no, they weren't.
The origins of COVID-19. There's no argument about that here. To prevent and prepare for future pandemics. What do public health agencies and researchers need to do now, learning from this pandemic, to ensure that we can quickly test and trace when faced with new pathogens of pandemic potential?
Well, my work as a clinician deals with public health departments. I'm not a public health department person, but each state has its own department and then liaises with the Centers for Disease Control. And I know many of our state health departments don't have enough funds to accomplish what they want to. Each state is sort of self-funding and has other federal monies too, but there's just not enough resources. There's not enough people, and we have to go.
Okay, madam, it's on you now. Where did the money go? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the Hawaiian money go? Every state's supposed to, just like every governor was supposed to make his own mandates. Where'd that Hawaii money go, lady? I bet you I know where. Bet
Ukraine.
you I know
No.
where. No, well, I mean, it came back to her, but
Yeah.
Back to workforce issues, trainees. We need to get people excited entering these careers. I'll mention that for infectious diseases, only 56% of our training programs filled in 2022. There are a number of reasons for that, including low compensation. I know in public health officials, clinical laboratories, we have trouble finding people that want to do that work and getting them into training programs. So these are absolutely vital from both clinical laboratories, public health laboratories. These are our sentinel findings for, trying to see if there's an outbreak. Is there something new impacting the health, not only in our country, but then expand that internationally as well, because these same efforts are just as important as keeping peace.
Thank you. So clearly, the federal government needs to do more in terms of support and resources to both our state and local public health agencies in order for us to have a strong infrastructure set up. Regardless of how the novel coronavirus came to be, it is important we continue to invest in public health infrastructure and invest in research on pathogens of pandemic potential with appropriate guardrails and strict oversight and guidelines. To do nothing, quite frankly, is to have learned nothing from this tragedy and set us up for failure and more death in the future. Dr. Patel, what would happen if Congress blocked federal funding for BSL-3 and BSL-4 laboratories because of misinformation and fear-mongering surrounding lab leaks? What would happen if there was a moratorium on gain-of-function research, which includes developing medical capabilities,
bitch wants it.
countermeasures, and surveillance?
What's this kid doing? Is he trying to tell her to steal third? Like, I don't, what?
Right.
What's he, I think he called somebody Mr. Patel, and I don't think there's a Mr. Patel on there.
Like this guy's fucking weird. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but yeah, exactly, Jackie. Money, 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 money. It's all it is. And
The
then
federal
bitch,
government needs to give us more money so that way we can do nothing.
well, and then bitch starts talking about fucking gain of function. Like that's what they want. Why do you want this? They think like they're so fucking scared that they're gonna create more fucking crazy shit just to try to see if they can fucking fight it. Like fuck that, man.
Because it's easy to hide the money. What happened with Fauci? Think about it. He said we did not sponsor gain of function research.
Yeah.
Semantically, he was correct because the company that funded the gain of function research was not his company. It was a company that was given money by the government that he oversaw.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true.
So it gives them an out.
Yeah.
If this shit happens again, and it gives them money. So they just take this money and it gets laundered through the system and they just have to, it just recycles.
Right.
So if they have this stuff, Hawaii gets a grant, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
They get grants and they get money and then they go, well, we didn't sponsor this. We gave it to this company. They gave it to another company and they gave it to a company that sponsored it. That wasn't the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
Capacities.
Like
Are you asking me? Yeah, are you asking me? I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, Dr. Allwater.
Okay.
She said Dr. Patel.
Yeah. He's like, hey, bitch, it's not that.
Dr. Orwell, there's no Patel on this. Are you talking about the guy with the white beard? He's not a Patel either.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that's why you will hear about public or private-public partnerships. Every time I hear that, I'm like, that's the stupidest fucking thing that I've ever just... Is it private or is it... Like, how can it be private-public? Like, we know about it, but, like, that means you're privately doing shit that you don't want us to know about? Like...
Privately, we give to the people who publicly, we tell you, go fuck yourself. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So I think we if we have very strict rules and shut down or halt research within the U.S., there may be.
Yeah, he just goes on about they don't want to stop the money because because then
of course
we won't get the research.
Because then I won't have a fucking job.
Yeah.
If we're going to look into the origins of COVID and fully understand where this virus came from, this virus that has murdered so many people all over the world, I think the most important thing we can do today is look at the timeline.
I don't like the way she said important.
And if we go back to early 2020, when this was just starting to kill so many people, we'll see something interesting. That while Dr. Fauci, Dr. Anderson, Dr. Collins, Peter Daszak from
So I don't know if you noticed, but I love to look at the people behind. That dude has done a couple of fat rails. Look at his eyes, look at his hair, and look at the way he's looking at her.
Oh, absolutely. He looks like he's been up for a day.
He has not slept.
Uh-uh.
She said, we got 72 hours to pop this off. Let me get you in the bathroom for a few minutes and let's go.
Right? It's like 72 hours. I'm going to get 72 grams. Let's fucking rock this.
EcoHealth, who, by the way, had
Yeah.
a grant for gain of function research. Dr. Auchincloss and others were doing everything possible to shut down the Wuhan lab theory publicly, even though privately they told each other that
privately.
COVID-19 looked engineered, and discussed the reason to stop the theory. And if they were to, it's really interesting.
What up, Aaron?
They wanted to
Hey,
give
Aaron.
reasons for not expressing this opinion to the public were that it would do great potential harm to science and international harmony, and do unnecessary harm to science in general and science in China in particular, even though their paychecks are funded by the American taxpayers. At the same time this was going on, the CCP was using its full weight and power to spread a propaganda campaign to conceal the origins of COVID, numbers of cases and deaths, and protect their own reputations while stockpiling medical supplies, severely hurting the global supply chain and definitely hurting America. In the same way, the CCP silent, censored, and imprisoned dissenters who tried to tell the truth. Dr. Fauci and his cohorts seemingly were running their own misinformation and ultimately censorship campaign to, in quotes from Dr. Collins to Dr. Fauci, put down this very destructive conspiracy about the lab leak theory. But it's really interesting. I think we should revisit January 27th, 2020. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, finds out that they have a financial relationship with the Wuhan Institute of Virology through EcoHealth Alliance, and that they've been working with novel coronaviruses. January 31st, 2020, Dr. Fauci is warned by Dr. Christian Andersen that some of COVID-19's features potentially look engineered. And the genome is inconsistent with expectations from evolutionary theory. Dr. Redfield, did you agree, in your opinion, with Dr. Andersen's assessment at the time that this virus did look engineered?
I was concerned because of the presence of the furin cleavage site that we've talked about. And I think it's important to understand what that cleavage site does. That cleavage site totally changes the orientation.
It's where I
of
motorboat the
binding
shit out of her.
domain
I'd say it's
COVID.
called the cleavage
So
site.
it now, which could not see the ACE2 receptor, which is a human receptor, it totally changes the
I
orientation
got two
now.
H's for
So
her.
it has high affinity
yeah.
for a human receptor.
Take the
So
H, put it
that
there,
furin
I,
cleavage
and make
site
it an N,
bothered
and I
me.
got
It
two
didn't
N's
seem
for
that
her.
it
What?
belonged there. And then when you look at the sequences that it used, and it's beyond the committee, but I know many of you have looked into it, the sequences that they used in those 12 nucleotides for arginine were the arginine sequences, nucleotide triplet, that coded for the human arginine. So why did this virus have the arginine sequences for human there, not bat? It was very disconcerting to me. It looked like this virus was engineered.
Was this, what you're observing and speaking of, is this something that would be in line with gain of function research and the capabilities it would provide to
Right.
a virus?
Yeah, I mean, basically, this lab
That'd be the
published
only
in
way.
2014 that they accomplished in this, allowing the coronaviruses that they were working with in the lab to bind to the ACE2 receptor in humanized mice. And the only way they did that was by reorienting the binding domain.
And it was clear to them.
So they put it in mice because our relationship with mice, right? Basically, mice and us are almost the same.
Right.
That's why you can grow an ear on the back of a mouse and be like, oh, we can regenerate a human ear.
Mhm.
So yeah. So they kind of functioned it so that way now it can infect the mouse, which
Yeah.
now can infect us.
Right.
I'm Mr. Science.
At this time that was likely the issue in their private conversations. Yet by February 4th, a paper on the origins of COVID is drafted by 4 participants of the February 1 conference call, one of those participants, Dr. Anderson, completely reverses himself in an email to the president of EcoHealth, Peter Daszak, and says the main crackpot theories going around at the moment relate to this virus being somehow engineered, and that is demonstrably false. My question to you, Mr. Redfield, did you know of any evidence that they had found within 3 days from February 1st to February 4th to be able to confirm that it was not created in a lab?
As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, I was excluded from those conversations, which I found retroactively very disappointed, since I was obviously a virologist and very engaged. And I actually had asked Jeremy Farrar, Tony Fauci, and Tedros to have these conversations. And then to be excluded, I found unusual.
Yeah,
Who's
it's a little fucked
Tedros? Who's Tedros?
Oh, the runner of WHO?
Oh yeah, that's right, the leader of
Yeah.
WHO. So it was Fauci, the leader of WHO, someone else,
Mhm.
and someone else. 4 people that were at the top were having these conversations, and he was not welcome. And the guy who maybe was on his side was turned around and
Right.
nah, it's delusion now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kid behind her was the one that had to get those stupid
Boards.
boards together. Yeah, he was. He read that book too. He was like, "This is a good read, Marjorie. You should try it. You should read this book."
Right.
I do think it illustrates one point that's worth really focusing on. When you have a group of people that decide there can only be one point of view, that's problematic. And I'll keep going saying it's antithetical to science. And unfortunately, that's what they did.
I can tell you, Dr. Redfield, that is the case. It's very problematic because how people suffered in this country from those, what I would call tyrannical decisions, using their positions of power and shutting down the
Young
country in
lady's
the way
time
they
is-
did. I think people
time has
definitely do
expired.
feel that way. Thank you. I yield back.
I now recognize Dr. Jackson from Texas for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. And I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here today. Dr. Redfield, I want to thank you in particular for your service as CDC director. You were key in getting some of the meatpacking plants back up and running during the height of the pandemic in my district, and I appreciate that. I just want to say I agree with a few of the things that have been said on the other side of the aisle from my colleagues. And one of the things I want to talk about that hasn't really been addressed here from
You're
this side of the aisle
racist.
is that, yes, I do believe that public health has been devastated by this COVID pandemic. But that is because public health officials in this country decided that they were going to consider the politics surrounding this issue when making statements and recommendations. That's the root of the problem with the public health here. And yes, this must be repaired. We have to get our public health industry back. The only way that will change, is if we can regain the trust and confidence that we have to have in this country in our public health sector, is to look back. Look back at what happened, who made what decisions, and why those decisions were made. And most importantly, if public health authorities such as Anthony Fauci betrayed the trust of the American people, they must be held accountable. Period. Somebody has to be held accountable. This is a problem we have in government, throughout government. If there's no accountability, nothing changes.
That's what we all keep
We're going to be
saying.
doomed to repeat this whole disastrous period in American history again if we don't get the answers about what happened and why it happened. In addition, I just want to say that this continues.
I'd hate to be his kid. Why didn't you put your clothes away? Well, I know why you didn't put your clothes away, because I told you 7 times. You didn't want to listen, did you? You didn't want to listen. I told you, put away. But Dad, I don't want to hear it. I told you, put away your clothes. You didn't listen to me. So now it's just going to be a beating. I'm just going to have to beat you. But Dad, can I not? No, I didn't say it. I didn't tell you to talk. Did I? Did I? No, I didn't tell you to talk. Shut up. This goes in here. Dude, that would be fun. That would not be fun. And he's a doctor. Oh, don't look at my balls, Dad, please.
To this very day. The WHO, China, the mainstream media, social media, they all need to be called out. They need to be held accountable for their part in this cover-up. Millions of people died, and we need some answers to what's going on. And I'll say that we still have an issue with this today. We still have an issue with corrupt, politically driven advice. And this is evidenced by the misinformation regarding masks, natural immunity, the need for boosters, and most importantly, and most important to me at this particular time, the inappropriate efforts to vaccinate our children. So I would just say that we have to regain this trust in public health, and we have to do it quickly before something like this comes down the pike again, because American people right now have zero trust and confidence in the public health sector in this country. So I want to ask you real quickly, Dr. Metzel and Dr. Redfield, what do you think that we should and could do to regain that trust of our public health sector?
A number of things. First, we need to look objectively, honest, directly, fearlessly at the COVID origins issue. As I've said before, I think the primary culprit, if that's the right word, is China. But we also need to look at ourselves. We really need to look at everything. We need to follow the evidence. We also need to establish a bipartisan process for evaluating the entirety of our readiness. And that's why in my remarks, I recommended establishing a bipartisan COVID-19 commission, kind of like built on the model of the 9/11 commission, because it's going to be very difficult to do it piecemeal. We really need comprehensively, in a bipartisan manner to develop an action plan. And because health is international, that means exactly as you've said, we need to focus on the national and the international levels.
Dr. Redfield, real quickly.
Yeah, real quick. I think the first and foremost is we've got to tell the truth. When you don't tell the truth, you've got a problem. And I think if you go back, there were many times when public health officials packaged the message to what they wanted to say, but it wasn't necessarily truthful. The second thing, you have to have the courage when you're a public health official.
All right, Mr. Big
to
Time.
say, I don't know, when you don't know. And I think that really fundamental, that's how we begin to lose it. When people say that we're going to be okay once we get 30% immunity, and then later they say 50%, and then later they say 70%, and then the press says, well, why did you say 50% before? And now
Because
you're
I
saying
didn't know what I was
70%,
talking about.
And the guy says, well, I didn't think the public was ready to hear that.
Thank you,
You've
sir.
got to tell the truth.
I want to get a little bit of time here. I want to say how I said I did agree with some of the stuff that was being said on the opposite side of the aisle. One of the things I don't agree with, and I think that the way we have to fix this is we do have to get past the politics now. That it's over and it's done with. There's been a lot of damage done. We got to get past that. And I'm disturbed that the people on the left in this committee can't talk about this at all without bringing up Trump, racism, or conspiracy theorists.
Right.
And I just want to make clear the record on one particular thing. President Trump on May 29th, 2020, recognizing the failures of WHO, severed the U.S. relationship with WHO, citing the need for serious reforms. And despite no reforms taking place, on his first day in office, President Biden rejoined the WHO, which was and continues to be nothing more than a puppet of the Chinese government. I want to also say that on January 31st, 2020, President Trump came under intense criticism when he banned travel from China, an order then presidential candidate Biden called xenophobic, a move that even the highly respected Dr. Fauci on the other side of the aisle praised as saying that Trump's actions saved thousands and millions of lives. So thank you. With that, I yield back.
I now recognize Mr. Jordan from Ohio for 5 minutes.
And here we go. Bing, 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 bing.
Focus on the future. Might have started in a lab, might have happened in nature. But here's the question I keep coming up with. If it may have been a lab, may have been nature, we're supposed to look forward, then why did Dr. Fauci work so hard for just one of those theories? Why was it so important to push one over the other? Dr. Barra said, oh, we should entertain all hypotheses. Dr. Fauci had his hypothesis, how this started. We should entertain all of them. But that's not what happened. That is definitely not what happened. 3 years ago, if you thought it came from a lab, if you raised that, you were called a nut job. You got censored on Twitter. You were blacklisted on Twitter. You were even called a crackpot by the very scientist who in late January sent emails to Dr. Fauci and said it came from a lab. They called you crackpot. Is that right, Dr. Redfield?
I think the most upsetting thing to me was the Baltimore Sun calling me a racist because I said this came from a Wuhan lab.
Dr. Redfield, you were...
Listen, if you believe the president's tweets, you better believe Rob Reiner's tweets. Those are just as crazy as the president's tweets. Oh my God. We could spend a whole, we've read them before, I think.
Oh,
Rob Reiner's
Rob Reiner's
tweets are insane.
Yeah.
You ever had a man, 80-year-old man, pop your pockets? You ever have a
Pound
president?
pocket.
You ever have a man kiss your daughter and your wife like a telenovela? That's what it's like to vote for Joe Biden.
You ran the CDC and you were on the coronavirus task force. Is that right?
Correct.
That was formed on January 29th, 2020. Is that right?
Correct.
2 days later, Dr. Fauci gets an email from Dr. Anderson, which says what? Virus looks engineered, virus not consistent with evolutionary theory. Is that accurate?
That's my understanding. From
Next
whatever-
day, I know. Did he share that email with you, by the way, Dr. Redfield?
No.
As a member of the task force, as the head of CDC, did he share that email with you?
No.
Okay. Next day, February 1st, Dr. Gary sends Dr. Fauci another email. That email says, I don't know how this happens in nature, but it would be easy to do in a lab. Did he share that email with you, Dr. Redfield? You
No.
didn't see either one of those emails, even though you're head of CDC, even though you're on the coronavirus task force that had been formed just 3 days earlier.
No.
3 days later, Dr. Anderson and Dr. Gary, who told us it came from a lab in emails to Dr. Fauci that Dr. Fauci wouldn't let Dr. Redfield see, 3 days later, they changed their position 180 degrees. The question is why? Mr. Wade, why would they change their position that fast when the only intervening event is a conference call with Dr. Fauci, the guy who wouldn't let Dr. Redfield see the very emails that they had sent him, Dr. Redfield, head of CDC on the coronavirus task force? Why would they change their position, Dr. Wade, or Mr. Wade?
Well, this question does lie at the heart of the issue. What is pertinent, it seems to me, is there's no new scientific evidence that we can see that came
This guy's like
available
110 years
between
old.
these dates, the January 31st and Feb 4.
Right, there's no new, I think you're, go ahead.
So you have to ask if there were other kinds of influence available. Now, it is true that
I mean, this guy could have served
Dr.
in
Fauci and
in
Dr.
Hitler's
Fauci in
army, but I
London
mean, he's that
were
old.
very powerful
Right.
research officials, and between them, they control.
I read your testimony, I saw
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So
Why don't you cut to the chase and tell them what you really think was the reason?
I
they're
don't know
racist.
what the reason was.
I know what it was.
Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. I'll let you say it because I read your testimony. I think you
Jim
said it in
just
your
wants to get to
testimony
the
too, but
business,
you were like,
man.
"Idea," but go ahead.
Well,
Give me
if
the
you
good
look at the timeline, on May 21st, just a few weeks after the Nature Medicine article had come out, two of the signatories of the original email to Dr. Fauci, that's Dr. Anderson and Dr. Garrett,
Yes!
were
That's exactly what it is.
$1 million grant.
So there's 9 million reasons why they changed their mind. I knew you'd
yeah.
get to it. I read that last night. 3 months after, so 3 days after they say it came from a lab, they changed their position, and the only intervening event's a conference call with Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins. Again, a call that Mr. Redfield was not allowed to be on, the head of CDC and on the coronavirus task force. And then 3 months later, shazam, they get $9 million from Dr. Fauci. Well, isn't that something?
Isn't that
Isn't that
special?
something? That's why we want to talk to these guys. That's why Chairman Winstrup wants to bring in Dr. Anderson and Dr. Gary and ask them a series of questions so we can get to the bottom of this, so we can move forward and deal with this. Now, here's the key question. Look, I'm just a common sense guy from Ohio. I majored in wrestling in college, but I got a degree in economics.
Oh,
You're
Jim,
supposed to get a
Jim, don't
degree when
mention
you go to
wrestling,
college. You
Jim.
got one in
Don't
economics.
mention wrestling,
And one of the
Jim.
things they tell
Leave
you
the
about is
wrestling
thing
out of
called
this.
opportunity cost. So when you're spending your time making sure that the country believes only one of these theories, you could have been doing what Dr. Redfield was doing in our government, trying to figure out how we deal with this virus. And what was Dr. Fauci doing? He was trying to cover his backside, and everybody knows it. And that's the part that ticks us off, because this is the highest paid guy in our government getting all kinds of money to tell us things that were not accurate. Because we now know U.S. tax dollars went to a lab in China, a lab that was not up to code, a lab that was doing gain-of-function research, and that's where this thing most definitely came from. And Dr. Fauci had to prove, no, he can't have that news getting out. And that's why he did what he did, to the exclusion of a brilliant guy running our CDC, kept him out of the loop. Keeping him out of the loop probably potentially could have harmed America. That's the thing that
He's so pissed off.
That's why, Mr. Chairman, this hearing is so darn important, and we get to the bottom of really what happened. I yield back.
See, like Jim Jordan is like all of us, like that just want to start yelling about shit. Like it's ridiculous.
$9 million.
Yeah.
Once again, I've said it from the beginning. I know you've probably said it from the beginning. It's about the fucking money.
Mm-hmm. It's
been about the money the entire time.
So it's all about the control, the money, and I mean they're getting the money through the control and shit. That's just all it's about.
It was all about, once again, if you go from the beginning, I think we're pretty much done with that right now. If you go from the beginning and you read the bill that they passed, because mind you, the president doesn't come up with the bill. Here's where let's get a little bit of a how a bill is passed, folks. When it comes to money, the House writes it, they pass it, the Senate passes it, then the president puts his signature on it. The House owns the money. Okay?
Same Fauci is here to protect everybody. Because I am, in fact, the science.
Listen, you know what pissed me off the most is when they put one of those Spanish candles. They put Fauci on one of those Spanish candles. I was fucking mad. Like, don't you dare. My grandmother had those candles lit around saints and all over the house, and I wasn't allowed to touch. They had liquor and money. My grandmother had $100 bills rolled and gave it to the saints. I wasn't allowed to touch that. And this mother lover is on one of them candles. I wanted to bowl the table over when I saw that.
Yeah, of course he wanted to protect us. That's why he wanted us to wear 2 masks.
Yeah. And I swear to God, I could see through those 2 masks him laughing when they were like, so you want people to wear 2 masks? It helps with the infection.
I know, like, man, Jesus, whenever he, like, that was actually taken serious, I was like, oh my God, like, this people are this dumb. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, they had me with checking for coronavirus in your butt in China.
I remember when that happened. Yeah, that was crazy.
They were checking for coronavirus. I had one somewhere to the saint of hangovers. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I heard it was in your toilet, but you know, and it was brown. But it was just like, if you followed the money from the beginning, they were giving hospitals $40,000 per patient that had COVID. If that wasn't a fucking red flag from the beginning.
Right.
And now, you know, these guys just, you know, changed their tune all of a sudden. Couple days, couple months.
Well, at least all this is happening now, and like we'll see if they actually get to any sort of like the bottom of if it did come from wherever. Because I mean, obviously we know it did, but it's like something needs to fucking happen already. Some person needs to be accountable for fucking something.
Listen, Aaron, if they had said, I think that's where the whole if you don't have sex with a transgender person, you're homophobic.
Oh my God. Like, dude, the mental gymnastics that I'm seeing a lot of that shit on Twitter going through, like now they're talking shit to like lesbians. If they give like a trans person that looks female, then they get there, then they have a penis, then you're transphobic if you don't want it. It's like, oh my God, what is happening?
Meanwhile, heterosexual dudes are just like, she just have a vagina? Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh my God! And that shit with Andrew Tate now, that shit's hilarious. Like that little clip that came out about him being like, was it the hottest?
Oh yeah.
The hottest chick with a dick, like Megan Fox with a dick versus Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on. I'm sorry. I'm still not gonna bang Megan Fox with a dick. Just not gonna. Like, come on, stop it, man.
Did you see that video from the whatever that the girl was just like? They asked the question, would you bang the hottest I can't stand that guy, would you bang the hottest transgender or the ugliest old woman? And the guy said, I'd bang the ugliest old woman because I'm not gay. And the girl flipped.
Yeah, she started it's not gay.
That's so transphobic. No, it's not.
Sorry,
I don't want to play swords.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, maybe like whatever somebody wants to argue doesn't totally make you gay, whatever else. Okay, make your points about that, but guess what? It's a gay act, so it's gay. All right.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
If I can't have if I can't have an opinion on abortions, you can't have an opinion on where I put my penis. How about that?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You can't tell me what feels good on my wiener if I can't tell you what you can't. I can't have an opinion on what's inside of you. All right? How about
Right.
that?
Yeah. There you go.
Just
One
like
for one, right?
come on now. We are just, dude. It is going to hell in a handbasket.
That's
I mean,
because the simulation programmer is drunk or he's on meth or something. Either way, he's on something. Because everything's popping off all at once, like especially across season shit. I'm gonna be fucking probably watching at least a couple of YouTubes after we get off of here, especially Canadian Prepper. I like watching his shit because he gets geopolitical, like everything that's happening over their relationship wise, and he's pretty fucking accurate.
listen, if it wasn't a
Such
married
typical
man,
dude.
I there's probably enough. That's why I quit drinking. Let's just put
Right.
it that way. That's why I quit drinking.
Like I picked the right time to stop drinking. Because shit's confusing now. Okay.
I got a potato guy over here. I got some French fries and a meat thing in my neighbor's. Yeah, I'm just so. I just told you we couldn't get fucking Freely Ashley. All right, enough. She'll be on next week. We're supposed to have Ashley on, but she had a family emergency. And that's all I thought about. I thought about Specs just going, I told you can't even get fucking Freely Ashley on your show. And I'm like, and I told Ashley, I go, I see, Specs was right. We couldn't even get you on her show. And she started laughing. She goes, oh my fucking God.
Like, fuck you, Specs.
Oh, man. I'm talking about it like it's not me. It's a mental disorder. I'm going crazy. I hit 40 and I'm now going insane.
Hey, well, it happens. I mean, I'm there.
Oh my God. But this is just, dude, this is like you said, everything's hitting the fan at the same time, J6. And I mean, they're so scared of like we were saying before, like they played the same 6 minutes over and over again. There's 49,000 hours. They picked the same 6 minutes, ran it over and over again. And they're like, well, why would they give it to Tucker Carlson? I'm sorry. Why was CNN? How did CNN know to be at Roger Stone's house when the FBI raided his house? Can you tell me that?
Right.
Can you tell me how all these news agencies know these things before this stuff happens?
Well, and anytime that they keep saying selective edit or whatever, it's like you motherfuckers edited the same thing. Like even just editing a video for time, unless you're going to play off 44,000 hours straight, it's considered editing no matter what. They're just playing other parts that you didn't fucking put out, that you didn't want us to see. And that's fucking it. So now you're being pissy about it.
No, I know. She told me about it. I know, but it was just funny. That was the first thing I said to her. Was like, Specs was right, dude. And she laughed. But yeah, she should be out next week. But I kind of not that I didn't want to. Not that I'm happy that she's not on, because what happened. I'd go out there if I could help her.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot to talk about with all this
yeah,
stuff.
there was a lot of talk, and I took up the first 40 minutes with my Nashville story.
Well, which it's still going to be happening, and we were kind of talking about we might do an episode on Friday too, because I want to talk about like the J6 stuff.
Yeah,
if more shit's gonna be coming about that, and also these hearings and shit, I'm sure that we're gonna hear some more shit.
Something else popped off this week too. We got the January 6th. Some other shit just happened, but there's just so much shit coming out. It's just I've been watching more and more of these stupid lives.
Well, and there was another derailment in Oklahoma, which is wild. It's happened right in front of these fucking people. Didn't contain any hazardous waste, but a little theory that people have been putting out is whenever this whole rail strike thing happened, how they didn't totally get what they wanted. The theory is that I've seen a few people putting out is railroad companies weren't exactly happy about what happened, so they're not exactly maintaining things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking everything up. I mean, either way they're getting at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fucked up way to go about it, but I believe it. Yeah, it's not hard to fuck with the tracks and also bearings and the video from Oklahoma, it looked like the complete fucking. Hold on, I'll show it real quick.
Yeah, Jackie's also right. There were 3 hearings. They had that one. They had the whatchamacallit? Shoot. The other one that they had was a committee hearing on. Oh yeah, I saw this one.
Yeah, this shit's wild because the whole fucking thing just pops off, and this looks like, I don't know, like it kind of goes along with like negligence in a way. Like, look at that, all those sparks coming off, the fucking entire thing disconnects, the axle and shit.
I like this bumping old school Jay-Z.
I mean, yeah, that's true. At least we get good music to this fucking craziness. Damn.
I would shit my pants.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
I just
standing
see-
there watching it like that. I'll tell you that.
Just see a big.
Totally disconnected from the train.
I just see a big black cylinder come my way. I'd be scared.
I wouldn't be standing that close because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's just fucking ridiculous.
You don't know if there's gas or anything. Yeah, they had advances in AI. Are we ready for that revolution? Force multipliers. Examine the need for additional resources. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Inspector General. They had another thing about
Yeah, exactly. A ton of kinetic energy in a train turns steel into tissue paper. Exactly. I would not be that close. Something whips off that train, fucking hit you in the face. I'm good.
They had another thing I was watching, something about that they switched. They literally, I have it on my phone. They had the COVID-19 thing. Now this news, now this politics. And when they realized that the Democrats were looking bad, now this switched to Afghanistan, and you saw all the comments were like, what happened? What'd you guys do? Because it says COVID-19 committee hearing, and they're talking about Afghanistan and all this stuff, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Afghanistan? What the hell just happened?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah. And then one guy was saying how he couldn't, he wasn't allowed to shoot the person that killed the 13 soldiers in Afghanistan.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched that.
Yeah. I was like, but all this stuff is going on at the same time. Did I?
Right.
Am I?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
I
sounds like
saw-
I'm coming out of here sometimes, and then it's something else.
Right.
Coming
Yeah,
out
I
through
saw
a
a
different.
part. I saw a part of that, which is pretty wild that he got told to stand down
Yeah.
from fucking taking that guy out.
Yeah, I'm just it's ridiculous that we can't get anybody to give us the real anything real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a SPLC lawyer accused of domestic terrorism and Antifa linked attack. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if we talked about it last time, but there's been this they took over this place in Seattle for they've taken it over for 2 years. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, they have a
No.
sovereign city in like Portland for the last 2.5 years. The
It's
cops
not-
haven't
it's
been
not
allowed to
Chad-
go in.
Say it's not Chaz Chop.
No, it's some other place, and it's like it's been for like 2.5 years, and nobody said a word about it.
Yeah, I didn't fucking know that.
I'm like, what the
Right, Chaz. That's what yeah, that was the only thing I heard about out there. That's wild.
Yeah, Crowder's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen
Yeah.
Crowder will be back March
It's
20th.
Gonna be on Rumble mainly.
Yeah, yep. So that's we didn't get a job there, so unfortunately we're gonna
Yeah.
have to grind this out a little bit longer. Now that there's 5 people in here, we have a PO box.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to send us anything like rubber chickens or anything of that, stickers, anything you have that you don't want, if you don't want an old Nintendo or old Xbox, you just send it to us and we'll do something with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the link tree in my bio. It's PO Box 5677. I made it easy for everybody. PO Box 5677, Topeka, Kansas 66605. So yeah, so if you want to send us anything, Aaron, if you want to send us dinner, that'd be great. It's gonna take a little while to get to Scott, but
Yeah.
you know, I'd enjoy it for 2 bites. But yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff, man. I wish,
Mhm.
like I said, it just the stuff that's going on. The murder trial, the murder trial.
Oh yeah. It's pretty wild. I knew that he was gonna get
Oh,
let
yeah.
it get life.
Yeah, Lori Lightfoot got
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot lost.
That bitch be out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's like so much stuff that's been happening the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But there's gonna be a lot more that's fucking coming out. That's what I'm hoping for.
yeah, I mean, it's just this like you said, man. I didn't realize what blackpilling was, and I think I got blackpilled. I think I'm blackpilled when you. I think what is blackpilled when you think both of them are garbage.
Well, it's not even that. Black pill is whenever you think there's no hope for shit, and you're just like everything fucking sucks. Like this one guy, like on Twitter, actually, which was funny. He's like, "Well, when I mentioned Crowder and fucking Russell Brand, he's like, they're controlled opposition." I'm like, every time anybody says anything about anybody, there's always one motherfucker that's like, it's to their controlled opposition. It's like, so then just don't listen to anybody. Like, why are you even on the internet? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Then stop listening to the internet.
yeah, well, no, stop listening to anybody. Period. Like, why are you even on here? Like, even if they're controlled opposition, which I highly doubt they are, I think they're just fucking trying to do their own fucking thing. It's like, then who are you even listening to at all, whatsoever, in any way, shape, or form? Because to me, they're probably some of the most realist in fucking media. But whatever, it is what it is. People.
Oh,
are,
did you?
but
Did
yeah,
you see Russell? Russell Brand has become my new favorite person,
yeah, I like him.
dude.
I listen to him quite a bit.
He has changed so much from. I think it just this America you guys talk about, your land of guns, to like, yeah, arm up, motherfuckers.
Right?
Look, everybody deserves a gun.
Yeah.
You get a gun. You get a gun. You get a gun.
Like
Fuck
Oprah.
everybody else. Like, I mean, and I want to make a video because that he was going up on Bill Maher's show with the guy from MSNBC, and he's like, yeah, show me one thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you work for MSNBC. What do you mean show you one thing? I can show you 4 years of things.
Yeah.
You had a host of the show of whatchamacallit of Scarborough. What's he got a picture of fucking who's that guy that wrote that book? The files? The one who was writing the files against Trump.
I don't remember.
Whatever fuck his name is. But he's got a picture of him hanging in his house. Come on, folks, help me out. Help me out 100%. What did I say about the real pandemic? Prove me wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. Morning Joe. Yeah, you see Brandon Moore? Yeah, him and Mika Brzezinski were going at it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I love watching people just wake up and then just being unplugged from the Matrix and just going, you see?
Yeah.
Wasn't that hard? Now was it?
Right.
It wasn't that hard. Now you're gonna see everything like this. Now you're gonna see everything in 1984.
Right. Exactly.
You're just gonna be like, oh shit.
Which is fucking hilarious now that the truth of like the actual footage is coming out and everything else, and then you see all these leftists fucking quoting 1984 and shit. Whoopi Goldberg's bitch ass saying something about coming out of George Orwell type shit. Like, shut the fuck up. You guys are idiots. Like, actual truth starts coming out, it goes against your fucking narrative.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's all fucking back. It's all 1984, like supposedly rewriting history, as that dude on CNN was saying too about what's happening with this. Get fucked, dude. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
They're rewriting history in the fact that I was listening to somebody have a conversation, or it was probably, I forget who it was, but they were saying that like, oh, well, the leftists want to defund the police. Oh, nobody in the left wants to defund the police. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. No. And then they started playing clips and they're like, well, she didn't say defund the police. She said reallocate the. We know what the fuck it means,
Yeah,
dude. Stop
exactly,
playing
yeah.
semantics. Once again, Tim Pool was exactly right when he said the left. If you say it's a door, they're going to say it's not a door. It's a portal with a handle made
Right.
of wood that allows you to go through so that way you can get from one place to another. And you're
Right.
going, motherfucker,
It's
it's
a door.
door.
Yeah.
It's not it doesn't transform you into another realm. It's a door.
Don't call it a door. You don't know what it identifies as.
Fucking you keep it up, it's going to be identified as a floor mat when I kick it through the fucking when I put my
Right.
foot through it.
Right, exactly.
Didn't Cori Bush marry her bodyguard? Probably. I know that bitch was talking about defunding the police, and then she spent $170,000 on police after she said that, because she's once again, she is special. She needs to be around, because if it's not for people like Cori Bush, then nobody is gonna be around, because Cori Bush is not around.
I'm gonna say, fuck a Cori Bush. Yeah.
Ew, no. I never
I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know. I don't even know who she is or he. Yeah.
Well, folks, it's been fun.
I've heard the name 100 times, but I cannot picture who it is at all.
Please listen.
Yeah,
do
I'm
yourself
good.
a favor.
Don't know.
Think of Whoopi Goldberg naked, and then just think of
Oh,
Whoopi
it's a
Goldberg.
chick. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Blah 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 blah. Yeah. But on that note, folks, thanks for listening, and yeah, we're gonna be reporting on more of this bullshit as it's coming out, and we might be doing an episode on Friday. Hopefully, we'll see.
We should start doing more days a week. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is the only. This is not, I say that, and my wife will fucking kill me. This is not the only fun I have all week, but boy, did I miss it last week. I was just
Right.
so. I knew it. Thanks for the confirmation. Great. Think of that, and now my dick is only for show. It's not what your wife says, sir. It's not what your wife says. Yeah. I missed this last week, man. I was so bummed, but yeah, you can find me Midwest Troublemaker on TikTok. You can find me, and then on TikTok now has a link tree to all our stuff, and Midwest Troublemaker on Instagram has a link tree on it. Thanks, Jackie. We love when you take over. You could be a
Yep.
producer anytime. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We need somebody to book the shows because we're
Well,
not good at it.
That's what she was saying in the future. Can she be our Jamie? And I was like, yeah. I mean, pull
Yes,
it up, Jackie.
please. Yes. You can start Friday, please. That'd be great. Thank you. So yeah. Like I said, we got shirts on sale. Don't be a mainstream minion. Please buy them so you can get more stuff out. You can send the money to yes,
Yeah,
you
that's
are. Pull it up, Jackie. Pull it up. Please buy the shirt so we can get out more stuff. We got other stuff we want to get out, and we're poor.
I'm a poor.
Yeah. No, no, Aaron, you need a shirt. You don't need a booker. You need a shirt. Get a shirt. Hit us up in the DMs. Let us know when we can send it. Because we got more stuff we want to get out to you guys that are pretty fucking cool. But yeah. So once again, folks, we are not here to change your mind. We are here to open your mind to this bullshit nonsense that everybody's just feeding you nonsense.
Exactly.
Don't be a mainstream minion. Scotto?
Yep. Catch me at Scott_Craiglow on Instagram, Business Party Podcast on Instagram. And of course, if you're watching here on Twitter, you know that shit. It's Biz Party Podcast on Twitter. And fuck the moon. We are going straight to Uranus.
Woo!
Thank you for listening and have a good night.